Good evening, everybody. Welcome. This is Dina. It is Sunday, November 30th. So this is the last day of November and the eve of our December. Hopefully that'll mean a lot of Christmas stitching for me because, that's my favorite time of the year. But I've been busy today. I put together my video of last week and had some exciting news to share with you at the end of a big finish that I was really, really proud of. And so today, my husband and I went to church and out to lunch. And then this whole afternoon, my husband has been at the church with other men putting together the Living Christmas Tree platform. It is a very complex platform that all of the choir members fill up. We have to actually go up the stairs in the back like a ladder and get onto a row and go our way around. And to keep the people's heads about the same place on the tree, we have boxes to stand on. And so depending on how tall you are, your box is, tall or shorter. Just to give you an idea, I'm very short. My box is 8 inches tall. So when I'm singing in the tree, I'm standing on an 8-inch box about this big. I can't move or I'll fall off of it. So it's not a real comfortable thing to be in, but it is the structure and it has to be put together. And it's a big scaffolding kind of thing that they build, and then they put the platforms on it, and then they put the walls up with all of the greenery and lights and everything on the tree. And today when we were at the end of the church, our minister of music asked for help, and he said, depending on how many people are here, we might be through by 8 o'clock or 9 or 10 or 11, depending on how many of you will show up and help us. And my husband had not planned on helping to build the tree this year because we aren't going to be here, and he had so much to do to get ready to go on our trip. But as we were coming home from lunch today, he said, I really feel like I should go and build the tree. And I said, I think you should. So if you feel like you should, you should. And that way, that'll be his part, his contribution this year is to help him put the tree together. And he's still there, and it is 6:30, so he's been there since 2. So I took that opportunity to do some stitching and talk to a friend of mine and got caught up with all that's been going on in her life and she with me, and that was delightful. And so now I'm getting ready to get on a Zoom call with my planning buddies, my friend Lori from Once Upon a Stitch, my friend Dee Abrams, she's on Instagram very actively, and my friend Donna, who was in my last video with me on Thanksgiving Day. We had such a good time. Anyway, we're all going to get together and talk about not only our month of December, but probably we'll talk a little bit more even about going into next year. It's at the end of the year, so you kind of tend to do that. So I wanted something today to stitch on because I knew I was going to be talking to my friend Marissa. And then I knew I was going to be on a Zoom call tonight. So I wanted something that was fairly easy to stitch on. And I went and looked in my WIP pile, and this one jumped out at me. And I got busy on it today, and I am happy, very happy to tell you, I got a finish on it. So this is 4th of July round. It was one of my patriotic starts that I did for part of my 25 that I'm starting for the 250th year anniversary of the United States. And this one is a freebie from Primrose Cottage. It was just a free download. And so this is my working copy of that. And you can see there that I did mine exactly as the call for, except I used my own colors. So I used Weeks Dye Works Blue Bonnet for my blue. Highly variegated blue. I thought that looked really pretty. I used my Gentle Arts Poinsettia. That's also a nice variegated red, pink color. And then I used Classic Colorworks Khaki Mocha for my white. So I did mine in those paler, kind of lighter colors to sort of look faded because it is a 250th anniversary after all. But I just thought that would be pretty. And this is a remnant of a fabric that's, I believe, Jamie's quilt, if I'm not mistaken. So it's got the pink and blue kind of things in it you can see there, and I think it just looks great with these colors. So my thought is possibly a round ornament to go on my patriotic tree. But there you go. There's another finish for the month. So for this month, that is finish number 8, which I'm very excited about for this month because that brings my WIP count down to 25. That's the lowest it's been in a little bit, since July anyway. But I'm real happy about that, and I wanted to share it with you, so thanks for letting me do that. The other thing I wanted to tell you about is after I finished framing my friend's piece, the December quilt, I saw on my ironing board I had this project that I had stitched ready to fully finish, and I thought, oh, I need to do that, and I had picked out this frame to put it in. So I had a store-bought frame, and I don't even know, I think it is from Hobby Lobby. And it had a pretty little heart shape on the inside, which I thought was a mat, and I thought this might fit in it. But then when I peeled this up and looked at it, 2 things. This little thing in here is just stapled in with little tacks. It doesn't come out. It's not something you can just take out. I don't know what was supposed to be on it or in it, but it didn't come out. I would have to tear it up to get it out. So I wasn't real excited about that. I didn't want to tear it up to get it out. So instead, I looked at it kind of carefully, and I decided, well, I'm just going to make this a very homespun type of a finish. And I put Christmas fabric behind her. Just a tiny little rim is showing. And then I framed her as a square to fit right in there. So now she'll just sit up on the table. This is Noel Angel. And it was one that I started back in the summer. May, I think, when we went on our little retreat to Canton, Georgia. And she was one of my 3 starts in 3 hours. And I finished her. And now I have fully finished her. And I think she kind of looks cute in there. So I got another Christmas thing to sit out, which I'm very happy about. So that's another FFO. So that's what I've been doing. It's been a good, productive day. And now here in a few minutes, in about 15 minutes to be exact, we'll be planning, Zooming and planning. And so I will be able to share that with my friends tonight. So that'll be fun. I hope you've had a great day. I hope it's been a restful day. It's been rainy here and freezing cold. So my husband took Coco out for a walk this morning before we left for church. But since we've been home, it has been raining and she has not been able to go out. So she and I ate supper together. She ate her little supper standing next to the table there at her bowl, and I ate mine. I had leftovers and they were delicious, and we just sat and talked with each other. I mainly talked to her, as you know. But anyway, she's been very sweet, and now she's downstairs kind of snoozing and napping and waiting on her daddy to get home. And what they'll do then is go in the basement and play. So whenever it's raining, they go to the basement and play. So that's it. That's all I have to share for today. And hopefully tomorrow I'll have more stitching to share with you. And until then, happy stitching, everybody. Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is Dina. It is December the 1st, and it is the first day I'm wearing Christmas attire. I've been waiting for December 1st to be able to do that. I have on Christmas tree earrings, and I have a shirt that has Christmas puppy dogs on it. My friend Cheryl gifted this to me one year for Christmas, and I love it. Well, it is Christmas season, but today I didn't get to stitch on a Christmas project yet. And that is because I wanted to go ahead and work on my WIPGO goal that was going to be on one of my projects that's on roller frames, because I can't take them with me when I travel. And I wanted to get this one done. And it was also, I had put it as a monthly requirement as well, because I hadn't worked on it in a while and I wanted to make sure that I did it. So this is Spring Quakers. And when you last saw it, I had this little tiny section of this motif done on this big one here. And so today I needed to put 300 stitches in for my WIPGO, and I had adopted that same number for my monthly requirement, so 300 stitches. But today I wound up putting in 338 stitches, and I got that beautiful motif to this stage. So this section is finished, and that'll be replicated on these other sides. But I'm loving it. I think it's beautiful. And the reason that it went to 338 stitches is this was the last little part I did, and I went ahead and did all three. And so it was more than I needed, but I wanted to get all three of them done. I had the thread on my needle, and I just wanted to get those three parts taken care of. So there you have it, Spring Quaker. So that WIPGO call is met, and that monthly requirement is met the first day of the month. Woo, I feel good. I feel good about that. Now I'll share my WIPGO board with you. I only have one square left because one of the numbers that was called this month, number 1, I had already done. It was to stitch on and finish a spring bag. And I did that one. And that was actually a substitute in for one I had done and finished before I ever got there. And then I finished that one and I thought, I'm not subbing another one. I'll just count it done. And so I did. I think that's no different than having a free space. So that was my free space. Anyway, so now I have one little section left for WIPGO, and that one is going to be a WIP of choice. So if I get a chance to do 300 stitches in a WIP before I leave town, that will complete my WIPGO board. So I'm excited about that. I went today and looked at the Cross Stitchers Journal and Daily 30 Sale Facebook group. Pardon me. I have to pick this up before I step on it. Don't want to step on my Valdani threads. To get the acrostic for the Daily 30 Challenge, because I always do that one. And this month, they're not doing an acrostic. They are doing a focus on finishes. And you get, for every 100 stitches you put in a piece that you've declared that you want to work on, you get a point, and you have to post I think you have to post a picture for every 100 stitches. Anyway, I'm going to be in the middle of the ocean. I'm not going to be able to do that this month. So, unfortunately, I won't be able to participate in that. Although it's right up my alley. You know, I love to push things to a finish. And I'm going to take several pieces with me that I would love to get a finish on. And if I knew that I was getting points for every 100 stitches and get it to a finish, I might actually force myself to finish a couple of them. But then I thought about it, and this is a vacation time for my husband and I, and we've booked a lot of excursions for this trip, and we're going to be out and about a lot. So I just don't want to put any pressure. I want to enjoy where I'm at, and I want to enjoy being with him. So I am going to skip that one. So this month there will only be, for me, 2 acrostics. And that is 24 Hours of Cross Stitch and the Monthly Magazine Challenge. 24 Hours of Cross Stitch is Which Way Next, and the Monthly Magazine Challenge is the word worm, W-O-R-M. So I do have pieces designated for those. I don't think that my Spring Quaker was used for any of those, which it was not. It doesn't fit any of them. So that's okay. But it did get my WIPGO, and it got one of my monthly requirements done. So that's awesome. So now, I guess what I'm going to do next, since I'm only a couple of days away from my Jingle Ball stitching, is try to pull together what I would like to work on while I'm watching the Jingle Ball. And I think that I'll definitely look at what are some of my requirements on here for my acrostics that I can't take with me on a plane, since we're flying to our destination for the next trip. And I think I will try to concentrate stitching while I'm looking at the Jingle Ball, more so on that than necessarily Christmas. It may include some Christmas, but you may get to see more than just Christmas this month, which is great. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on that now. I have to find something that's going to be easy to stitch on tonight because I have a Zoom meeting tonight with some fellow stitchers, and I want to have something I can do without that doesn't require heavy concentration and heavy counting. Fill in, outline border kind of stuff that's pretty routine. That's what I like to do when I'm Zooming with this group. So I'll look at that and figure out what I'm going to work on and get that pulled together here in just a minute. I'm packed for my most recent trip, my weekend trip, but I haven't yet finished packing for my cruise. I still have a few days for that, so that'll be down the road just shortly. But I'm getting there. I'm planning what I'm going to take with me, so that's a big part of it. All right, well, I'm going to get busy stitching, and I hope you are, and I will be back when I have more stitching to share with you. Happy stitching, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. It's much later on December the 1st, and I am happy to be able to share a little more cross stitch with you today. This afternoon, waiting to get started on my Zoom call, while my husband had Coco at the park, I got some time to stitch, and I pulled out my Santa's Workshop. I needed it for the first W in my 24 Hours of Cross Stitch, Which Way Next acrostic. And so the W was for the workshop. And I needed to put some stitches in it. Now, because I'm not doing the daily 30 acrostic that tells me how many stitches, I get to pick whatever I want to do. But today I wanted to do at least 200, and I did 218 as it turned out, because I did a second color on all of the borders, the inside of both sides of that border, another yellow, a lighter color of yellow. There's 218 stitches on that, so that's getting filled in. And then I did the one purple flower at the bottom as well. This is a page break, so I'm trying to get everything done up until that part before I flip over and follow another page. So 218 stitches, a little more work on the border on both sides, and that was my progress for that. And I'm putting that away. I wanted to get that worked on before I left on my trip because it's on a big roller frame, and I knew I wasn't really going to have a chance to take it with me. And then I chose for my Zoom call tonight to work on my temperature tree. This is a temperature tree pattern by Sarah Hughes. She has an Etsy shop, and she's also a floss tuber, Stitchin' Mommy, if you're not already following her. And she sells all sorts of different temperature chart patterns in her Etsy shop. And this is one of them. And this is called Temperature Tree. And as you can see, I put in the next to last branch tonight. That's my November temperatures. So we're getting back into those frigid, colder blue and purpley colors that are colder temperatures there. So, in fact, we had a couple of days right in there, if you can see them right in here, that were blue, blue, blue. They were cold. They were in the 40s. So that was kind of a shock to our system. Anyway, so next month, at the end of December, I will fill in that branch, and that will complete my temperature tree. I am doing it for the current year, and I'm doing it for my current location at Gainesville, where I live. So that has been the additional stitching that I've gotten done for today. And I just wanted to pop in here really quick and share it with you. Tomorrow, I have a nice, easy day. I am also going to be trying again to pick stitching for prompts on pieces that are harder to take with me. So I don't know what I'm going to pick to work on yet. But today was very productive because I got 2 of my letters in my Which Way Next acrostic already met. And as you know, I also completed one of my monthly requirement goals, which was a WIPGO stitch as well. So it's been a red letter day. It's been great. I hope that you've had a good day today. I hope that you have a good day tomorrow, that your weather's not too terrible. It's cold here and it was rainy, and it's supposed to rain tomorrow. So that's a bad combination for me, rain and cold. I'm okay in either or, but usually when they're together, I get really chilled and can't seem to get warm. So I have socks on and a coat on top of a little jacket over my shirt, and I have a heater, but I turned it off so it wouldn't make noise while we were talking. I hope you've had a great day, as I said, and I am looking forward to coming back tomorrow and hopefully sharing some more stitching with you. Happy stitching, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. This is Dina, and today is December the 2nd, and I am here to begin sharing my stitching with you this morning. Let's talk about this. My son and husband give me tacky earrings every year for Christmas, and whatever they gift me, I have to wear Christmas Day. And I have a few that I have kept over the years just because they were so funny. And my friend Donna said, "You have to wear your tacky earrings." And I said, "Oh, no, I'm traveling. I'm taking Christmas earrings, but I'm taking beautiful Christmas earrings with me." And she said, "Well, then you have to wear all of your tacky earrings before you leave and wear them on your floss tube." I know a lot of you get a kick out of it, so here you go. This is for y'all. And you can thank Donna for it. Okay, so today I decided to tackle one of my acrostics. And again, it was to stitch on a piece that I didn't want to take with me traveling because it's on a roller frame. So one of the things on a roller frame that's actually in both of my acrostics is Reindeer Games. So I pulled it out this morning, and I set a goal for myself of 200 stitches. Since I don't have the daily 30, 300 to guide me on the number of stitches for some of them, I've just mentally said I'm going to try to get at least 200 in each thing I work on. And today, I did exactly that. I did exactly 200 stitches, and I got in the entire Santa and the snowflake next to him. I think that is great. So now I am to the point of doing the words again. Vixen and Blitzen. And then the North Pole is what I have left on that side. So there you go. When I pick it up next, that is what I'll be doing. I will be starting this says Donder. I thought it was Donner. I think it's Donner. Donner. I'm gonna have to look that up, but they've got Donder. But I think we learned Donna. So anyway, I'll look that up. But it'll be words, letters that I'll be stitching the next time I pick it up. So that's moving along. And that met 2 prompts, one in each of my acrostics today, which is great. So the next thing that I think I'm going to pick up is going to be Dressmaker's Daughter. I need that for my daily 30 group only, but it's a very long roller frame, and I'd like to go ahead and get that done so that I don't have to worry about taking it with me to either of my trips that I'm going on. So I just got back from taking Coco for a walk. It's very cold. It's about 43 degrees outside, and it's been raining, and there was a break in the rain. And so before I even recorded this, I finished stitching, and then she came running up. It was almost as if she knew it wasn't raining because we tried to go earlier, and it was raining. And so we looked, and we went for a little walk. So I'm still a little chilly, but I'm going to grab my next thing to stitch, and hopefully in just a few seconds for you, I'll be here to share with you Dressmaker's Daughter. Hello everybody, welcome back. Good evening. It is later on December the 2nd, and I do have a little more stitching to share with you. I'm excited. I was stitching today while I was talking to my friend Carla, and was trying to hit another prompt before I stop for the evening. I need to finish bobbinating some thread to replenish my master set before I start kitting up all of 2026 new starts. So today, my last bit of stitching that I'm going to do today was on my Dressmaker's Daughter, and I'm using this for the monthly magazine challenge acrostic for the word worm. So this was for the M. Not only was it for Dressmaker's Daughter, but it's also a Mirabilia, so it could go for either way. And I decided to come back over to the front side because I was working on this one last time. So I came over here and I put another 202 stitches in that background. And so basically all you're doing is counting, because you have to leave little holes for what will be, I believe, beads in this case. I don't think they're going to be ninja stitches. I think they're beads. Anyway, I got that prompt met. You can see how this is on a long roller frame, so I can't take it with me on the airplane. That would be, I'm not even sure that would fit in the suitcase, even if I broke it apart. So there you have that. Dressmaker's Daughter. Another 202 stitches. Came back in and worked on that first dress. So hopefully the next time I pick it up, I'll slide over to this one and I'll do some work on this one and then this one, and I just keep rotating through it. And my purpose for doing that is so that I can get it done from the top down, so that as I need to roll it up, I'll be ready with each of the dresses. So that's kind of my thought process on that. Anyway, so there you have my stitching for the day. I did my Reindeer games and my Dressmaker's Daughter. Hit 2 prompts in acrostics, which is great. I was talking today with my friend Carla about the monthly magazine challenge, the 2026 WIPGO, and you know, those prompts were released yesterday, or actually late on the 30th. Thank you, Carolyn. If you're watching, thank you so much, you and Robin, for doing that early. It turned out that that was released during a planning call that I had with my friends Dee, Lori, and Donna. And we were all working together on what we were going to stitch for December. And then the conversation sort of took a little bit of a turn as to, and what are you doing next year? You know, are you doing anything special? Dee wants to stitch something for the Olympics, and so she's going to kind of veer off into that. But we're all doing the WIPGO, and I did get tickled because there are 2 sections, 2 prompts in the WIPGO that require the roll of a die. And you know, I had just been using one of my die for the 3 months to the finish line, where I roll the die to tell me what to stitch on each day till I finished all of my things. Donna keeps teasing with me about finishing all of them, but that was the purpose of the game, right? So I think I did really well with that. So I had my die right here, and so each person would say, okay, roll this one for me, so then we'd know it was their number. And I lucked out. I went last, but I lucked out, and I got 1. And on that prompt we were rolling for, it was the number of elements or motifs or items in your project, and I got 1. So for most things, that'll be great. The one thing that it'll be tough on is if I decide to do it on Spring Quaker, but that's exactly the one I put down there. Because on Spring Quaker, the one motif that I got started, I put over 300 stitches in that thing, and it's not finished yet. So I went ahead and put Spring Quaker on that one so I could finish that big motif, and I will stitch on it till it's finished. Even though I'm only required to do 100 stitches, I think what if I can do what I want to do, I would want to finish that motif entirely. And then the other thing you had to roll a dice for was a whip of choice. You do whatever whip you want, but you had to stitch 100 stitches times the number you rolled on your dice. And on that one, I wasn't as lucky. It wasn't bad, but I wasn't as lucky. I rolled a 2. So I do have to do 200 stitches when it gets to that prompt. But what I was going to tell you about today was one of the prompts is to stitch on a piece that reminds you of your favorite book. And I had the worst time coming up with a favorite book because I've read different ones. And I like a lot of murder mysteries, and then sometimes I like autobiographies or historical events that people have written about. So I have an eclectic group of books that I've read, and after I read a book, and it's been a while, I guess I begin to forget the impact that it may have had on me at the time that I read it. And so nothing was really sticking out until Carla said, do you have any pieces you're stitching that have scripture on them? Because one of the books you read a lot is the Bible. And I said, oh, I do. So the Wisemen, I keep calling it 3 Wisemen because there's 3 of them there, but it's actually called The Wisemen. Is a Stony Creek that I'm working on, and it actually does have a quote from the Bible in there about the wise men and what they brought to the baby Jesus. So that one will work. It will remind me of a book, and it's one I have going, and so thank you, Carla. You really helped me solve that problem. So I think that's great. So at this point, I only have one of their prompts that I don't have at least an idea written down that I could use, and that is my whip closest to a finish. Because as you know, I'm trying really hard to finish as much as I can by the end of the year. I think I have finished a lot of what's close enough to finish, especially after doing 3 months to the finish line and finishing 11 things. That really did push anything I had remotely close to a finish. But I am going to be gone, and I'm going to have a little time to stitch. I just don't know how much. But it may actually cause one particular whip to flip over another one. It could be that right now, if I were to choose today, this would be my whip closest to a finish. But if I stitch on another whip part of the month of December, more than I stitch on that one, this one could overtake it. So I'm leaving that one blank till closer to time, and then at some point when we're supposed to post our board or something, I need to look that back up as to what day that's supposed to happen. I'll have to pick my whip closest to a finish at the time that I'm filling it out. So that's I guess really the bulk of the news for today. Otherwise, I'm just getting ready for Jingle Ball, just like everybody else, getting excited about it. and looking forward to my first Jingle Ball that I get to attend. So if you're attending Jingle Ball, I hope to see you there. In the meantime, happy stitching, everybody. Well, we are going to be gone most of the month of December. So my decorations this year are quite minimal. I put out some of my Christmas stitches that were new from last year that I actually had to take them out of the plastic. So there's Santa's house, and then there's the Neige at Montaigne, and then there's an older, I think it's a shepherd's bush, Holy Night down there. And then we always have to have our stockings on the mantle, but this year my mantle is just a white and silver, other than my Kringles. I put that out last year on the wall, but I wanted it up here this year just because it's one of my newer pieces. So silver and white, those are the main colors in here today. And going along with that is Santa's Parade, Cottage garden samplings. That was, I had to take out of the plastic. That was new from last year. I always try to decorate this little piece of furniture in our entrance. And this year I've decided that it will be the Nativity, or the Holy Family. And so here are several pieces I've done that are Nativity, one cross stitch, and then my Jim Shore pieces, and then a beautiful piece my sister Stephanie gifted me years ago. I put out every Christmas. And that lovely cover there, table runner, is a gift my friend Sue made me, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. And then right across from that is Miss Christmas Eve. Now let's see if I can get her where you can see her without all the glare from the door and the windows. So she's hanging there. And that kind of transitions the colors in this hallway. You've noticed the colors are more traditional, red, green, gold. So in my dining room, I don't have any. I do have silver and white. I could do silver chargers and white plates, but I just wanted to have something Christmassy here today. And there are a couple of pieces hanging out here that I'm taking with me to a little party. So I've got them here to put in my car. But here's my Christmas table. So letting the wrinkles kind of fall out of the tablecloth. I may have to take it off and iron it. But you can see how it's been folded up in the cabinet over there for the year. But anyway, this is kind of what it looks like. And I've also done a lot with Santa. A lot of my pieces in the living room had a Santa-ish theme to it, so that kind of pulled that together as well. Okay, one of my viewers recently asked if I would show the Santa sleigh being pulled by the bears on my channel again, because she loved it so much. This is a Rocky Mountain Christmas, I think, or something like that. It's been a long time since I stitched it, and sorry you can see me in the reflection, but this is a beautiful piece. I absolutely adore it. It has red velvet, matting, And I did white beads for the snowflakes instead of French knots. And then you have the bears pulling the sleigh, Santa's beautiful quilted coat, holding that precious puppy dog. It's a great piece, and it was one of the first pieces that won me a first place ribbon. It actually won Best in Show in the Needle Arts category for me that year, which was fabulous. I enjoyed that a lot. But that's the picture, and that's going up in the living room now. I wanted to take a video of it before I put it up. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. It is December the 3rd, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the stitching that I got done today. It was a busy day today. Coco went to the groomers. My husband was kind enough to drop her off first thing this morning, and then he went off for a long run, and I went grocery shopping and then went to Hobby Lobby. I had to go back to Hobby Lobby because I spent yesterday evening kitting my 2026 new starts that I have planned for the year. And so I depleted a lot of my floss, and today I went and restored my master set so that I would have that in case I needed it. Anyway, I'm very excited that I got my 2026 planned starts completely kitted now with both fabric and floss. I even changed out a fabric or two. And then I got settled in after I picked Coco up from the groomer and had lunch, and I started stitching today. And today I decided I wanted to complete my WIPGO. I had one left to stitch, 300 stitches, and it was a whip of choice. So I looked at my acrostics and I thought, I like this one, and I'm at a good spot to get 300 stitches because it'll go fast. So I was working on due diligence. And I am making this a little more narrow to fit my fabric. So I've eliminated this row of alphabet and this row of alphabet. So I took this row and did it all the way across. And then I dropped down to the cursive row. Since this one looks printed to me, I wanted the cursive row. And so today when I started, I had made it through the I the last time I stitched on it. So I started with J and I went all the way to the T. And had I needed more stitches, I could have wrapped around and finished them. But when I got to the T, I had 352 stitches. So that met my requirement for my for my WIPGO, and that was 300 stitches. So 352 more than met that. And here's where we are now. So when I pick this up next, I get to choose. Do I drop down and do the rest of the alphabet in that color, or do I go ahead and start from where it left off and fill all the way across? And I think that's, right now, that's kind of what I'm thinking that I'm going to do. But the good news is, not only did this complete my WIPGO board, but it was an acrostic element. So it was in the 24 hours of cross stitch, and it was the I in which way next. So the I is met, and my WIPGO board is a blackout. It's a good day. It's a very good day. So now I'm going to close up shop up here. I'm going to go downstairs and spend some time with my family and get to bed a little bit early tonight because I have a busy day tomorrow. I'm going to meet a big group of friends for dinner tomorrow night, and I'm hoping to get some stitching done before. Anyway, I hope you are too. I hope you're having a great day of stitching, and I will try to film as much as I can throughout the weekend. I will be out of pocket, so I'll film when I can, and if I can't film until I get home, please understand, because I am going to be away from the house for a few days. So I'm going to say good night and happy stitching. Hello, good evening, everybody. This is Dina. I am here to talk to you about my stitching for the past few days during Jingle Ball. My first day of Jingle Ball on December the 4th, I started stitching early. Nothing was going to open up for a little while. So I decided that I was going to stitch something that I wanted to stitch on to finish out a series that I was working on, or a grouping. And that was my Nativity frill that were the 3 Wisemen. So I had stitched Nativity Town before, and I had stitched the 3 shepherds before, and I had misplaced my Nativity Wisemen, and I found it. And so I went ahead and took it out, and I started it and finished it on the 4th. 652 stitches is what I counted anyway. And so I have ordered the display from Paisleys and Polka Dots to mount the Nativity Town on one board and the 2 frills on another that will stand on the ends next to the town of the nativity scene. And that way it'll be a beautiful grouping. I'm sure I will not get them before this Christmas. I won't be able to finish them for this Christmas, but they're stitched and ready to go. And that means I can fully finish them up for next year, which will be great. Now, that took a lot of time during the day, and so right at the end of my stitching time on the 4th, I went to dinner with some friends, and so before I headed out for dinner, I started this and wanted to stitch on it for just a little while. And it is a bent creek, and it's called Happy Independence Day, but the little piece itself says Celebrate Freedom, but the title says Happy Independence Day. So I think that's what it goes by. It did come with little snaps, but I chose not to use them, and instead I'll show you what I did. This piece of fabric, I have no idea where it came from originally, or the name of it, or even the count. Really, I didn't stop to count it. I knew this would fit just by looking at it. But I got it off of the freebie table at the Garon retreat this year. And you can see how beautiful that background fabric is. Just so pretty. And it's kind of a light blue-green. Anyway, I felt like it had a lot of little swirls in it. And here was this Celebrate Freedom with all of the fireworks swirling. So I thought that went well together, and it really elevated the piece to something very interesting to me for the background fabric to be so different. And the way it kind of hits me is, you know, when you're watching fireworks and you get all of the smoke and stuff in the sky, and you can see that when all the fireworks light up, but it fades away, it kind of floats away. That's what the background fabric looks like to me. So anyway, this was my first new start of my 2 patriotic starts for December, and I went ahead and was able to finish this one. So I'm very excited about that. Now, I didn't finish it until the 5th. I started it on the 4th. I did about 115 stitches on it. And then on the 5th, I picked it back up that morning, and I stitched another 648 stitches in it to finish it. It's got some kind of solid stitching in it in a couple of places, but it was a quick stitch. I liked it a lot. Thoroughly enjoyed working on that. So then I decided, well, what do I want to do now? So I didn't have a class through the Jingle Ball until Saturday, so I had even more time that I was going to get to stitch. And so I had brought with me a few things that I thought if I get the chance to stitch on these, that would be great because it'll finish up something. And so this is what I brought. It's the tree lot, and it's the 3rd tree of the tree lot. And so that finishes that series. So this is number 3, and this is number 1, and this is number 2, how I did them. Anyway, or how I'm showing you. So there's all 3 of them. And now when when I finish them, I'm going to finish them in a tree-shaped ornament. I'm not going to make them into stuffed round trees or put them on a pole or anything. They're going to be flat ornaments, but they are going to be tree-shaped, which will be great. So that was my third finish during the Jingle Ball, and I was very excited about that. Now, that did take me 2 days to do. I did 101 stitches the first day, and then on the 6th, I picked it back up, and throughout the day, I stitched on it, and it took me 672 more stitches to finish it, but it's done, and that series is done, so I'm very excited about that. So then I had, in there, I also had my class, and I will show you, pardon me, it's right here in the bag for protection. I participated in the Stand Up for Santa finishing class, because that's the one I wanted to stitch, and that's the one I wanted to finish, and so that's what we did. And I didn't want mine very big. I wanted it to go on my little shelf over here where I have small things that I've stitched. So I did mine on 32 count. And so it is quite small. And it is quite small when you compare it to the ones that are done on 20 count. They're more like this tall. And I actually I have a picture that I will insert for you where my friend Sue was in the same class, and we were finishing it together, and she was helping me out a lot. And so she did hers in the normal 20 count fabric and did the big stand up. And so we put these side by side, and I said, oh, look, Sue, this is Santa and his mini-me, because that's what it looks like. I'll show you that here. Isn't that funny? After seeing Sue's large Santa, I thought, you know, I might have to stitch this one again in a large Santa size. I know how to finish it now. I'm glad I did mine small to begin with, because it was a learning opportunity for me. But there's the backing fabric I had in my stash. I didn't get her kit. I couldn't get there quick enough to get a kit. And of course, you make your bottom as well. And we learned a lot of good techniques. We did a nice long herringbone stitch on the side and around the bottom to sort of finish him off. I did mine, if you recall, on tin roof, and it's the gingham, tin roof gingham, and this is 32 count linen. So there you have him. I finished him during the class. And I can't recommend Kathy Haberman's classes enough. She's a fabulous teacher. I've said that before, and I still feel that way. So there's my Santa stand up. So after my class, I came back and I did some more stitching. I watched several of the meet and greet kind of sessions, and I was able to do some shopping. I got a couple of patterns on the way. Well, I got them download. I got to go download them now. But the next thing I thought, oh, I'm on a roll here, finishing some series. And so I had taken that opportunity to pull out Anjour pears. I needed to stitch one more of these, which is the Majestic Floral is the name of that one. I had done this one first, then this one, and now I had to finish it up. And so I have been doing mine on a Big Stitch Me fabric called Sugar Cream Pie. And the floss that I used was the Cherry Blossom from Cottage Garden Threads. And after doing all three of them on 32 count fabric, this is what I had left out of one skein. So it did all three. If you did them any smaller than that, you'd have plenty. If you did them any bigger than that, you know, might be tight. You might need to get two. But I did them on 32 count, and one of these took me all the way through all three of them. So this is the one I finished today. and it's called Majestic Floral, and I just think it's lovely, absolutely lovely. So here are the 3 pairs that I've done in that series on this fabric. And so now I think what I'll probably do is wait until I stitch my next set, which I have for next year, and then I can finish them all, have a finishing day, and finish them up like I did the last 2 sets that I did, because I did 2 sets at a time last time. I was on a roll. I cut everything out at the same time, you know, and just pressed it and all that stuff. So, but I haven't even looked for backing fabric for this one yet, so there you go. But I started that on the 6th, excuse me, and I stitched 365 stitches in it. And then this morning I got up and I finished it with another 457 stitches to complete my Anjour Pear. And now that series is finished, which is great. So if you're keeping count, that's a grouping of 3, the Nativity grouping that I finished, and then 2 series or groups of 3, the Tree Lot and now the Anjour Pears. So wow, that was a great opportunity. I wanted smalls. I wanted things I could easily stitch on and then put down when I wanted to look at something closely for, you know, for my Jingle Ball. It's the first Jingle Ball I've been to, so I wasn't, you know, really all aware of what I was gonna come in contact with. So the last thing I started this afternoon, and I didn't work on it but a few minutes because my husband called. My husband ran a race this morning or this afternoon on Green Street here in town. It was called the Green Santa Sprint. The Santa Sprint on Green Street. And it was a 1 mile fun run type thing, and they had a great group of people, and they all ran in green Santa suits. If I can convince my husband to share pictures with me for me to share with you, I will, because he has a few of him in the green Santa suit. But so I picked up my America. This is my second start for my patriotic starts this month. I wanted to get this one started before I go on a trip. And I barely got any of that A done. I mean, barely got it started. And I'm trying to figure out now exactly which way you're supposed to look at it. This way. So this is the curl coming up here for the A. I put a few stitches in, and then I thought, oh, he called. He's like, let's go. So he and I decided to have dinner together and just run out to Waffle House. He likes to go to Waffle House after he runs, get a big omelet, and so that's what he did. So now that's been my stitching since the 4th of December, while I was busy tied up with the Jingle Ball. I hope you got to go, and if you did, I hope you had a wonderful time. I didn't go into any chat groups or things like that. I was really trying to just kind of get a flavor for what they were producing and putting out there, and watching all of the designers and get to know them a little bit through their meet and greets and things. So that's what I was working on, what I've been doing. So there's one FFO for you, and then 4 finishes and 1 new start that wasn't a finish. So I think that's quite a bit of stitching in the last few days, and I'm glad to catch you up with it before I pack and head out the door to go on our trip. So thanks for letting me share it with you. I hope that you have a great start to your December, and I hope to have an opportunity to videotape while I am traveling. It'll probably be, I may get a chance to talk with you tomorrow, but the next day is a travel day. And now by the time you see this, I should be already back home. So it's okay if I say that I'm leaving, because I'll be back by the time you see that. Anyway, I look forward to sharing my travels with you and my stitching along the way. So until we speak again, happy stitching.
What in the world do you say? It's a huge reindeer snowman.